there it is. One of the pitches I'm going to show people. Totally reasonable. Maybe a two-person. That'd be about it. Like an emergency, you could do whatever you got to do, right? I can remember as a kid in Army Cadets, this is like the prized possession when you're outside as an Army Cadet. There's so many things you could do with that. Works better if you can get a couple of these snapped together. So if you have some buddies, so if you're in a patrol or a squad, you could make a crazy tarp city with these. I'm going to have it sort of stretched out on the ground, just under 5 feet that way, and I'm going to guess about 7 and a bit this way. We'll figure it out again after. What I like about these and a good poncho that I'd be looking for, one, it wouldn't be that kind of material that's going to rip up. I'm going to want the polyester or nylon. The grommet holes, and these are solid grommets along the side. Now this is a kind of snap. I don't see this kind on newer ponchos, but it'll snap down the side there, so you can snap it closed or snap it along the other side. So what you could do is snap 2 of these along this way. You could even snap a third one along the other side there, and not so you get 3 tarps wide, but you're going to get a really nice sized tent that, if you're cozy and you use your bag as a pillow, I think you could squeeze 3 people in there. I don't know if I'd want to do that regularly, but you sure could. In different ways, I guess you could lay that out too. In fact, I've seen people string 4 or 5 of these together and get a whole pile of people in there. But it is nice that they snap. You've got the grommets, and it's not such a big deal to deal with the hood there. It can cinch up, tie down, and you can use it as a pull-out point to get yourself some more room. You just got to watch which way you have the opening. Plus, the opening comes up on the neck a bit and cinches down. So what I'm going to do down in the corner down here, I'm going to go to the other side actually. Would stick some kind of cordage in here. So I was farting around in the back cleaning up a little bit, and my son had made a dew still for one of the video games he played, but we were using that for a scout project too, and it was with a small piece of blue tarp and a base cell container and some string. So I grabbed some of the string. I'll just get this in a second here. Pardon me, everyone, while I reach for it. Just some cheap cordage. Bank line would go better, paracord, whatever. Just tied a loop here because I don't have any stakes, so I've got some sticks that are sharpened that'll drive in there. I'm going to pop this through as a lark's head. See if I can do that while holding the phone here. I don't know what the view is like for you guys or gals. I'm just going to probably see a shot of my neighbor's cars and a bit of a rail construction going on, but you probably won't see that through the bush. So I'll just pull the loop through. It's a little weird doing that with a hand on a phone. I need more practice, but basically pull this in through here. Now I've got something I can drive a stake through. If I had little metal stakes, I'd put it right through the grommet. So I'm going to grab a wooden stake, pop it in, show you that. I want to stake out the opposite end and go over to the other side and probably stake out one corner over there. And then we're going to get to finding a piece of stick to use to prop up the one end. And then we'll deal with sticking down the other side over here. And I want to do that because I can adjust the width. I don't need it super wide at the back for my feet, but I want to have some slack so I can get a bit of height. Now, I'll tell you, if this was survival, I wouldn't want it up too high. Just as high as I need it. Make sure the opening is not facing the wind. In fact, I could even tie it off to a tree as long as I look up and make sure nothing's going to fall on me. And then the tree can act as a windbreak and also work as your pole at the same time. Although then you're not likely to have a fire unless you had it off to one side that was a little open more. Here, we could have a fire off to one side to try and catch some of the heat. But we'll just go at it from here in a second, and I'll be right back. Got a nice hook stick sharpened up, got a notch in there. Probably don't need it. Drive it in at an angle, gonna bang it in with that board. Go over to the other side. I'm gonna find something for that end, prop it up, and then stake that one out finally with the third stake, similar to so. And we'll have a look, and that would be one pitch style. And then some of the things you can do with the hood. We want to watch which way it's open. and we can bunch that up after, and I'll show you that. Handing stuff though, but anyway, got steak ready. That stick, popped it through the loop. You can adjust this after, but then I just threw a loop on the end there, and I'm going to come down here. Now, you might want better cordage. I'm going to throw a loop in here, which is pretty easy enough to get. Just reach through. Oh, hold on here. Not so much with one hand. Just learned how to do a one-handed bowline. I feel good about that. Hopefully never have to learn how to tie that one-handed, because I think that's why you're getting rescued. Okay, so got my loop. Probably longer than I'd like it, but harder to adjust. One-handed, yeah, I could bring that line in closer, but I think I'd rather tie that off to a tree, which I could have done that way, but then not a great shot. Then I'll stake you at that end and show you from there. The height, you get a little more length if you drop that, but then it starts getting hard to get in and out of. I'm going to stake down this end and give you an idea of what I might do next. So it takes longer to find the sticks and make the stakes than to actually pitch this particular plow point with the military poncho. So it could go up a bit higher, then I lose some of the length. It could go a little lower, it'll depend. If it was extra cold and I didn't have a fire, I might drop it just to reflect the heat more. If I had a fire, I might raise it a bit more and then put a fire somewhere around there. You're going to want to pile some leaves under that. If you had something else, garbage bag or something, maybe some bunch of bottom branches from pine trees with a bunch of needles on it. You don't want too many hard sticks in there. But, okay, one thing I wanted to point out, this has just been my experience. I try to pay attention to which way the poncho actually opens, because if it was opening the other way, when the water runs down, it's going to want to run into the hole here. Now there's a bit of a lip, an inch or two, and we can cinch this down, but I have another trick for this to get me just a bit more room, where I'm going to tie that off to another stick and guy line if I can find one, and that might work a little better. Otherwise though, you'd want to sort of roll this up and cinch it on itself, and that should keep the water out. Just tighten it up and then loop your cinch cord around it and pull it down, and you don't have to deal with it. But if the hood's going the other way, which I have done, a little bit of drippy drops and not so fun. Got some wet wood here for illustration purposes. I would say I really would keep a small fire and not get too much closer than that, only because this material could easily get a hole through it with a little spark. You're going to want the dry stuff. And I would probably do about 3 times the leaves under there, but I just wanted to show you what I might do. I'm going to crawl underneath there. I'm 6'2", pretty big guy. Now, if I was feeling like I needed it and it was windy or whatever, I might stake down that grommet, and as well on this side too. And here, you can tension it sort of a different angle. I probably should fix this up this way, and I could even pull that back corner back more. So if I adjusted where this was on the string and pulled it out a bit further, I could get an extra probably 6 inches pulling everything back. So you could fiddle with it. It's actually up a bit high, but that's okay. Makes it easier to get into. And if you are going to have a bit of a fire, it's going to trap some of that heat. So let's crawl in here. A little mucky. That's the sound of an old guy. Let's get in underneath here. And so just to show you, I'm in there. Got plenty of room. Got a little vent hole here, and you can see the opening, but it's totally overhanging there, and so the water should all head down that way. There's also a couple inches up here, and so I could cinch that, but it might be nice to let some of the condensation out. And I'm well underneath here by a foot over here, and I could go back in a little further, and if I really had to, and I was friendly with someone, and they were a little bit shorter, they could get in here too. So there it is. This is a plow point. So doing the, say, a half lean-to or a C-fly, kind of just with the top part, might be good, if you just needed somewhere to sit beside a fire, and it would only be just under 5 feet, so I certainly couldn't sleep in that fully laid out. But here I could probably pop my backpack here and make a great pillow. And I can get a little closer to the fire, and it's not too bad. You can actually feel the warmth off your body. I mean, it's only 10 degrees right now, so not super cold, but I can feel that in there with me. So get back out. Pretty easy to do. Lots of room to avoid the fire. Yeah, okay. That would probably be the go-to pitch for me. You could do a lean-to if you wanted more room for people underneath there. Certainly could get 2 under a lean-to from this. It is long enough, but you get a little more length when you're going on a diagonal there. Although it was long enough for me to lay underneath. Again, also, if the weather was a little bit blowing hard, rainy, definitely want to pitch your entrance facing away. Maybe have a tree there if you're lucky enough to anchor to that. That'll stop some of the wind, making sure there's nothing over your head. This will do the job. I don't know how the modern ponchos would work. I want to get one sometime just because they're lighter and put this one away because it has sentimental value to me. But there it is. One of the pitches I'm going to show people. Totally reasonable. Maybe a 2-person. That'd be about it. Like an emergency, you could do whatever you got to do, right? Canadian military poncho and a plow point.